For a long time, it looked like everyone around you was moving forward faster than you. Your coworker upgraded to a new car after his promotion. A friend moved into a nicer apartment with a rooftop pool. Someone you went to college with posted pictures from Europe. Another bought a new watch, and another announced a kitchen remodel that looked like something out of a magazine. Meanwhile, you were still driving the same paid-off car, still living somewhere completely ordinary, still bringing lunch from home some days, still wearing clothes that nobody would ever ask about. From the outside, it did not look like wealth. If anything, it looked like you were falling behind. But what nobody could see was what happened every payday. While other people were turning raises into new payments, you were quietly sending yours into retirement accounts, investments, cash reserves, and debt payoff. Your lifestyle barely changed, but your balance sheet kept getting stronger. You did not look richer. You were becoming richer. And that is the strange part about building real wealth. For a long time, progress is almost completely invisible. There is no applause when you increase your savings rate. Nobody compliments you for avoiding a car payment. Nobody notices the automatic investment that happens every 2 weeks. But eventually, those invisible decisions start buying something much more valuable than looking successful. They start buying your freedom. At first, looking broke feels like you're losing. The hardest part is that visible spending gets rewarded immediately. You pull into work in an older car while someone beside you parks a new luxury SUV. You bring lunch from home while everyone else orders delivery. Your friends book the expensive weekend trip, and you are the one who says, maybe next time. Even if nobody says anything directly, you can feel the comparison. A new car gets compliments. A nicer apartment gets attention. A vacation photo makes progress look obvious. Investing gives you none of that. You move $500 into an index fund and nothing around you changes. Your car looks the same. Your apartment looks the same. Nobody knows your emergency fund grew. That is why the temptation is so strong to turn invisible progress into visible success. The raise becomes a car. The bonus becomes a vacation. The promotion becomes a bigger apartment. Quiet wealth starts when you stop asking, how do I look like I'm doing better? And start asking, what actually makes my financial position stronger? And once that changes, raises begin to look very different too. Your raises start disappearing on purpose. Imagine your income rises by $10,000 a year. The obvious response is to upgrade something. A nicer car suddenly feels affordable. A better apartment seems reasonable. Restaurants, travel, and subscriptions all creep upward because technically you can pay for them. That is how lifestyle creep works. It rarely feels irresponsible. It feels deserved. Now imagine someone else gets the same raise and changes almost nothing. Same car, same home, same basic lifestyle. Instead, they increase the automatic transfer going into investments before the extra income becomes normal spending money. To everyone else, nothing happened. Financially, everything happened. If every raise becomes something visible, your expenses rise with your income. But if income rises while your lifestyle stays relatively stable, the gap between what you earn and what you spend gets wider. That gap is where wealth is built. Maybe the extra money goes toward retirement accounts, investments, cash reserves, or expensive debt. The destination can change. The important part is that the raise does not automatically become another monthly payment. But this is where the psychology gets harder than the math, because eventually someone notices you are not upgrading, and then you have to become comfortable not explaining why. You stop trying to prove you can afford more. Someone looks at your car and says, "You still drive that thing." A relative asks why you have not bought a bigger house yet. A coworker knows roughly what you earn and jokes that you are too cheap. Earlier, comments like that might have bothered you. Maybe you felt an urge to explain that you actually had plenty of money. You wanted to tell them about the investment account, the retirement balance, or the fact that you could afford the upgrade if you really wanted it. But then something changes. You stop explaining. You just say, "It works for me," and move on. That may seem like a small psychological shift, but financially, it is enormous. Because once your self-worth is no longer tied to whether other people can see your money, one of the biggest spending pressures in your life starts losing power. You no longer need purchases to prove that you are doing well, and that changes how you see luxury. Luxury is not bad. A beautiful car, a nice home, a great vacation, or an expensive watch can all be worth buying if they genuinely improve your life and fit comfortably inside your finances. The danger is when luxury becomes a leash. If the payment attached to something means you cannot leave a job you hate, cannot survive a temporary drop in income, or have to delay investing for years, then that object is costing more than the number on the receipt. It is costing flexibility. That is why quiet wealth can look almost aggressively ordinary. You begin asking a different question before upgrading. Would I still want this if nobody else ever knew I owned it? If the answer is yes, maybe it is genuinely valuable to you. If the answer suddenly becomes less clear, part of the purchase may have been about status. And once you stop paying for status automatically, your financial runway begins expanding much faster than people around you realize. Eventually, that runway becomes the whole point. One day, you realize you can walk away. This is where the story flips. Maybe your company announces layoffs. Maybe your boss becomes unbearable. Maybe you receive an offer that pays well, but you know is wrong for you. Or maybe nothing dramatic happens at all. You simply wake up one morning and realize you do not want to spend another 10 years living the same way. The person who spent every raise may earn a very good salary, but if that salary is supporting a large mortgage, 2 car payments, credit card balances, expensive subscriptions, and a lifestyle that costs almost everything they make, their choices are surprisingly limited. They look wealthy, but they cannot stop earning. Then there is the person who looked ordinary for years. They have a paid-off or manageable car. Their fixed expenses are lower. They have cash reserves and investments quietly growing in the background. They may have looked like the person who was behind until something goes wrong. Then suddenly, they are the person with options. If they lose their job, they do not necessarily have to accept the first offer immediately. They can wait. They can negotiate. They can learn a new skill. They can switch industries. They can take a short break. Maybe they can start a business they have been thinking about for years. And even if they never do any of those things, just knowing that they could changes the way they walk into work. That is what all the boring years were buying. Not deprivation. Not the right to brag about an account balance. Leverage. Every avoided payment created another small piece of runway. Every investment created another month where a boss, client, lender, or unexpected expense had slightly less control over your decisions. This is when you realize you were never actually falling behind. You were buying back control. And once you feel that kind of freedom, something else happens almost automatically. You care less and less whether anybody ever discovers how much money you built. The real flex was never needing to flex. Now picture the same scene from the beginning. Same ordinary car, same simple clothes, same lifestyle that never looked particularly impressive. But now those things mean something completely different. Earlier, you looked at them and wondered whether everyone else was getting ahead while you stayed behind. Now you see the private scoreboard, the emergency fund, the investments, the low fixed expenses, the years of future labor that are no longer promised to banks and lenders. You stopped spending money to prove that you were okay because eventually you built enough financial evidence that you no longer needed anybody else to believe it. And that is the real difference between visible wealth and quiet wealth. Visible wealth says, look what I can afford. Quiet wealth asks, what do I no longer have to tolerate? A bad job, a terrible deal, a financial emergency, a lifestyle you have to constantly feed, the pressure to impress people who are probably too busy thinking about themselves to notice anyway. For years, you looked ordinary while everyone else seemed to be upgrading. But behind the scenes, every paycheck was buying ownership. Ownership of assets, ownership of time, ownership of choices, and eventually, ownership of your own calm. That is the strange thing about building wealth quietly. For a long time, it looks like nothing is happening. Then one day, something changes at work, in the economy, or simply inside you, and you realize the person everyone thought was behind was actually building something most people never get. The ability to say, I don't have to. And that may be the quietest form of wealth there is.